So
comeback from Sophie, too.
she's not going to back down. We saw that last year, too.
Oh, yeah. She's got tenacity for
with
days.
Coppers. Talia Copper and her went at it, too.
So our officiating crew, led by crew chief Eric Bruce.
When the news first broke that Sophie Cunningham was being shipped off to the Indiana Fever, opinions ran wild. Many fans and pundits alike were initially bewildered by the trade, questioning the wisdom of giving up a coveted pick in exchange for a player whose reputation was still in its developmental phase. But if you take a closer look at the Fever's underlying strategy, the move begins to reveal itself as nothing short of visionary.
So Sophie Cunningham was traded to the Indiana Fever in a trade that a lot of people are really confused at. But for me, I think
Indiana Fever, a franchise long viewed as an afterthought, has decided that this is the moment for a culture overhaul, a break from the past where a lack of toughness and internal strife were seen too often on the hardwood. Cunningham's arrival isn't just a roster adjustment. It's a declaration that the Fever are done playing timid. In an era where every roster decision is dissected under the microscope of modern sports media, Indiana is sending a clear message. They're here to fight back, and they're not willing to compromise on grit, unity, or accountability. There was confusion in the air, whispers questioning why a team would forego the 8th pick in free agency. But if you step into the Fever's locker room, you quickly realize that long-term vision sometimes demands short-term sacrifices. The Fever's management knew that if they were determined to build a team capable of more than just scraping into the playoffs, they needed a change in attitude.
and a Fever to do what they did. Is it annoying them giving up the 8th pick? Yes, but there's a possibility if they are going for added in free agency that they might not be able to afford to keep the 8th.
A veteran presence that would both inspire and protect the franchise's crown jewel, Caitlin Clark. The decision to embrace a player with a reputation for both on-court prowess and an uncompromising leadership style wasn't made lightly. It was a strategic pivot aimed at warding off the toxicity that had, at times, plagued the team's internal dynamics. And who better to spearhead that transformation than someone who had already proven she could stand up to adversity and demand accountability from her peers? For those who might be new to the storyline, Sophie Cunningham isn't just a shooter with a deep range. She's a force of nature when it comes to enforcing team culture.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And
Oh
do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I've never really
Her arrival in Indiana marked a turning point. Suddenly, no one in the locker room was going to get away with cheap shots or passive-aggressive behavior. In a league where the spotlight is relentless and every mistake is amplified, having someone with Cunningham's intensity is not only refreshing, it's essential. Sport Pulse's insiders note that Cunningham's arrival is a clear signal that the era of timid play is over. Gone are the days when teammates might silently allow bullying tactics or dismissive behavior toward star players like Caitlin Clark. Instead, Cunningham's presence adds an extra layer of protection, a living, breathing line of defense against any form of internal sabotage. And if there's one thing that modern basketball demands, it's unwavering loyalty and accountability from every player on the court.
I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders, and I think a lot of people always have a lot to say.
At the heart of this cultural reset is the team's franchise player, Caitlin Clark, whose talent on the court is matched only by the weight of expectations placed on her shoulders. For years, Clark has shouldered the pressure of being the face of the franchise. Every move, every shot, every decision has been scrutinized by fans and critics alike. Yet, instead of buckling under the relentless pressure, Clark has continuously elevated her game, proving time and again that she's built for the spotlight. However, in the midst of her on-court heroics, a more troubling issue had arisen off the court, a pattern of neglect by some teammates when Clark found herself under attack. When the fierce competitor went down with a brutal injury, the natural response from a tightly knit unit should have been to rally around their injured star. Instead, some players chose to engage in off-court drama, amplifying negativity through social media rather than offering genuine support.
With people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. I would love to play with.
Enter Sophie Cunningham, who has long admired Clark not just for her unmatched skills, but for the resilience and determination that define her game. Cunningham isn't simply a bystander or a quiet admirer. Instead, she stepped into the breach, vowing to defend Clark from any further unwarranted attacks. Her commitment to shielding the franchise player is not merely about protecting a teammate. It's about safeguarding the integrity of the entire team and its future championship aspirations. The impact of Cunningham's arrival extends far beyond individual matchups. Indiana Fever's locker room has undergone a transformation, a reboot, if you will, where the days of passive, reactionary behavior are being replaced with a proactive, unified culture of accountability and strength.
So you be helping everybody up like that? I'm asking if that's normal. We're not talking about everybody. Is that normal? I'm talking about you. Is that normal? What are you talking? Is it normal? I just try to help her up.
At one point in the game, tensions flared when an opposing player delivered a cheap shot against Caitlin Clark. Instead of letting the moment escalate, Cunningham was there to ensure that accountability was enforced. In a series of rapid exchanges that combined on-court physicality with quick-witted verbal rebuttals, Cunningham made it clear that any attempt to undermine Clark's confidence would be met with swift retribution. For a team that had at times been perceived as vulnerable, this display of solidarity and toughness was a turning point, a declaration that the era of internal drama was over. But it wasn't just defensive heroics that marked the night. Cunningham, known for her offensive acumen, proved that she could contribute in every facet of the game. With crisp passes, relentless hustle, and a shot that seemed to defy physics, she consistently found ways to elevate the play around her. Her energy was infectious, igniting not only her teammates but also the crowd, who roared with approval every time she made a decisive play. Sport Pulse's analysis suggests that Cunningham's dynamic play is precisely what the Fever needed.
She gonna stick her little booty out like that. Now we viral. You held on, and then you was like, on the way back to defense. Girl, you're not.
A combination of veteran savvy and an unyielding will to win that sets the tone for every shift. Her ability to execute under pressure, whether by sinking a critical three-pointer or by stepping in to protect a teammate in distress, marks her as a player who is not only ready for the challenges of the regular season, but also for the ultimate test in the playoffs. The transformation within the Fever isn't merely about adding talent. It's about fostering an environment where accountability and unity are paramount.
Here in the desert with the Mystics up 38-30 with 3:41 to go in the second quarter. The play has been physical for sure.
In past seasons, the team's internal dynamics sometimes resembled a fragmented group of individuals rather than a cohesive unit. Distractions, social media spats, and a lack of clear leadership often undermined their on-court performance. However, with Cunningham's entrance into the scene, the message has shifted dramatically. Gone are the days when teammates might prioritize personal agendas over collective success. Today, every player is expected to contribute not just through individual stats, but by actively supporting one another both during and after the game. When a star like Caitlin Clark faces adversity,
They made the right choice in a big picture. I think big picture.
it's not acceptable for a teammate to engage in off-court drama or to belittle her efforts in the face of relentless criticism. Instead, a unified front is required, a front that is now embodied by Cunningham's passionate defense of her teammate. The new mantra in Indiana Fever's locker room is simple. If you see a teammate being wronged, you step up immediately. This ethos is not just about physical defense, but about defending the team's spirit. In a league where psychological warfare and media spin can sometimes be as damaging as physical blows, having players who are willing to take a stand is invaluable. Cunningham's proactive approach in calling out any behavior that undermines team unity has not only earned her the respect of her peers, but has also set a standard that everyone in the organization is expected to follow. It's also important to note that this transformation is part of a larger strategy. Indiana Fever are making a concerted effort.
BG there, a steal. Cunningham from the corner for a three. She hits it, and she's fouled. A chance to tie this.
To not only compete on the court, but also to become one of the most marketable and talked about teams in the league. This means that every decision, from high-profile trades to the way players interact with fans and the media, is part of a broader campaign to rebrand the team as a serious contender. In this context, Cunningham's role transcends that of a mere basketball player. She is now a symbol of the franchise's renewed commitment to excellence and a harbinger of the fierce, unapologetic brand of basketball that the Fever are poised to play.
defended by the much taller Candace Parker. Shot clock into single digits. Nice take by Sophie, and an opportunity for a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
The ramifications of Indiana Fever's shift in strategy extend far beyond their own win-loss record. In a league that has often struggled to capture the national spotlight, the emergence of a team that plays with unbridled passion and a clear identity is a breath of fresh air. The Fever's renewed focus on culture and accountability isn't just about building a championship team. It's about changing perceptions and drawing in a broader audience.
Sophie, what was working for you tonight?
Man, guys, I'm turning 28. I'm getting old out here, so I'm just maturing. I'm seeing the ball off the rim better. I don't know.
You're just coming into your prime, sister.
Hey, that's what I'm...
For years, the WNBA has been lauded for its skill level and competitive spirit, yet it has sometimes been overshadowed by narratives that downplay the league's marketability. With the Fever's recent moves, however, a new narrative is emerging, one that emphasizes toughness, unity, and a relentless drive to win. This shift is expected to have a ripple effect throughout the league, encouraging other franchises to adopt similar strategies when it comes to team culture. As more teams prioritize mental toughness and accountability, the overall quality of play and the level of engagement from fans could see a significant boost.